idiots around at the minute. It's that time of year where they're all stupid as anything. Never trust a pheasant, it will always want to kill itself. A bit of water here. Right, believe it or not, things aren't actually going to plan today because right here, yeah, things aren't actually going to plan today because I actually wanted to do this this ride in the rain. Some of you might remember, but a while ago now, I came out in this waterproof kit that I'm wearing on a ride, and I said I'd do a review. And indeed, I did go out a couple of times, and to test it, but it just didn't rain. Super slucky and slippy today now. Yeah, so the forecast for today was total rain, but now the bloody sun's come out. Now I've come out, which is not normally as trail bike riders we ever complain about, but I am today. Yeah, very slippy underfoot, not great for big bikes at the minute. Seen it like this for ages. So that's the water just running out of the ditch there and then down the path. Yeah, winter is among us. And actually that's one of the reasons I wanted to come out and do this vlog today, was to have a chat about winter riding and kit. Right, I'm just going to stop actually and take my earplugs out. I've got well, my earbuds, you know, music things, whatever they're called. Oh, and hello and welcome to another adventure. It's windier than it looks. Well, how would you know how windy it is? Yeah, so hopefully that blue sky is going to bugger off, and come on, let's have some rain and then we can do this. So yeah, so I've come out on the lanes today just to I just want to have a bit more confidence in this as wet weather gear. Well, the only way I'm going to know if it's any good is go out in the rain and test it. Nothing is ever going to be 100% waterproof. You know, I used to be a mountain leader, you know, was in the military, so I've been in some pretty harsh wet environments, in the pea pouring rain, in all sorts of gear, expensive gear, all sorts of brands. It has all eventually leaked, you know, and you get a bit wet. It's just a fact of life. So despite what people tell you, nothing is ever going to be 100% waterproof. So it's about understanding what to do if you do get wet. Well, first thing I want to say is never ever in any form of trail riding, be it in the summer because it doesn't wick well, or be it in the winter because it gets wet and gets cold, is we never ever want to be wearing cotton anywhere. Nothing cotton. Everything's man-made fibres generally, unless you're wearing something like wool or merino wool or woolen socks. You know, they work fine. Wool is warm when wet, hence sheep aren't always going down with hypothermia. Yeah, so wool does work, but merino wool, merino base layers, it's very expensive. So most people tend to go for man-made stuff because it's cheaper. So I was in Decathlon on the weekend, actually bought some more stuff. So let me just show you what I've done. So I just take my jacket off. So this thermal layer that I've got on here, this is a Decathlon like padded jacket, or however they turn it. Yeah, insulated jacket. And so we also, as well as not using cotton, we don't really, when we're on the bike, want to be used, unless you know it's going to be dry, we don't want to be using down, because when down gets wet, it gets useless. It's useless. It doesn't insulate. Wet down doesn't insulate. Well, how comes it works for ducks? Well, obviously the duck, the feather is more oily, and it repels the water, whereas obviously once they put it into a sleeping bag or a jacket, they take all that out of it. They do coat them these days with things, but you're just better off with synthetic wadding or material or some sort of padded jacket. And so over the years I've found one of the absolute best places to go is Decathlon. You get good kit at a good price, so it is worth going to somewhere like Decathlon. So I've had this padded jacket for years. You can still get it, but they only do it now with a hood, and it was only about 30 quid, and it has been absolutely brilliant. Yes, this is perfect to wear under your waterproofs on those long road transitions when it's cold, because it will keep you warm. If it gets wet, it will keep you warm. It will dry quickly as well. Down takes forever to dry, and really you need to do it in a tumble dryer, because the feathers, when they get wet, they all stick together, clump together, and then once you've eventually got it dry, you then have got to sort of bash it all. It's a nightmare. So definitely synthetic. Although I would say if I'm camping, I would always have a down sleeping bag, but your sleeping bag you can keep dry because it's in your kit, in your bag, in a waterproof bag, maybe then in a plastic bag if you're that bothered about it. But yeah, so definitely no down or cotton on the bike. So I've got this thin layer on, look, which is just until I get to the trail, but I'm still quite cold actually, so I'm going to keep it on for a bit. And then what I like to wear under that then is I've then got my body armour. So obviously this is my Liat body armour. And then under my Liat body armour, oh sorry, forgot about that. So this layer, look, this is just like a vest layer. So these are brilliant layers like this in summer, well, yeah, spring, winter, autumn. So this is a waterproof front to it here. So when I'm riding along, if I get warm and I take this layer off, I've still got something that's keeping the wind that might be coming through a jacket from off of my body, off of my core area to keep that warm. So this is a gilet I bought recently in Decathlon. This was only about 30 quid, but it's brilliant bit of kit. It's got obviously one chest pocket, a couple of hand pockets. That's handy to have something like this in case you want to put, say, some pocket warmers. You know, the little things that look like a massive tea bag. You put them, obviously break them open, put them in your pocket, and yeah, they're a pound a packet. So you're silly not to carry a few of those, I think. Yeah, so a good vest like this. And then underneath this, look, I've got this sort of layer, and this is more fleece than a sort of traditional sort of base layer, like an old Helly Hansen or something like that. So that's really warm. Obviously that's my base layer. I've then got my body armor over that. Then I've got my my gilet over that is probably, you know, this would be, if the trail is difficult going, this is what I'd be wearing with that over the top. And then I'll take this off and I'll put it in my rucksack, in my day sack. It just depends on the temperatures, and again, so this gilet I'm wearing is really thin and light, and if it gets wet it's going to dry quickly. So yeah, something like that gilet is a nice bit of kit. So let me just then show you this. So then what I've got here, look, so my waterproof trousers, I've just bought some clip-on braces, because I don't like to have my waterproof trousers done up really tight, and trousers generally if I can avoid it. And so I've got bracers, yeah, and then they're obviously onto my trousers. I'll probably get done for this, get nicked. And then under there, look, I don't know if you're seeing that, but I've got some like fleecy bottoms. Let me just adjust that. Michael, what are you doing? Yeah, so look, so then here I've got, this is fleece. So I've got a fleecy layer, and then, so I've got these fleecy like bottoms, like thermals, quite thick fleece as well, because it is cold. It's about 4 degrees today. And then I've got some really thin socks that are like a sock you buy to add to normal socks to make your feet warmer when it's colder, and I forget the name of them. I've had them years though. And then I've got pulled over that, over my fleecy bottoms, I've then got some waterproof socks that I got from Amazon, and they've been really good. They weren't a lot of money, they got great reviews, but again, pardon me, once you get wet, you know, once it's wet and it's piss wet through you're gonna get wet. So it's about then keeping warm whilst being wet is generally what I find from all the shenanigans over the years I've done is the key to it, because you're gonna get wet. There's a lane just over the hill there that I want to go and check out that used to be one of the best lanes around here, but I think it's overgrown now, so I'm just going to go and see how much work it needs doing to it, so we can maybe start using it again, come out with some loppers or whatever. So you might have seen me do this before. This is a mountaineering thing, and often with Decathlon gloves you get this, look. So you get like a little lanyard like this, and this is so you can put your gloves on like this, and then that means if you're on top of a mountain, you take your glove off to do something and the wind's not blowing it and it's gone for miles. And so I like doing this when I'm on the bike, because sometimes if you're in a group and you're riding along and for some reason you take your glove off, you can do that and you know you're not going to drop your glove as you're riding along. Dodgy, I know, but it does work. But also when you just keep stopping generally, you know, and you're not dropping your glove into a wet puddle as you're sort of doing something, checking your map or whatever, sorting something out. One thing I do like about this, so this is a Acerbis X Duro waterproof set that I'm wearing, and I do like the cuffs on this. I think if you get the cuffs right, you know, it's a big thing, and they're good cuffs. That they're nice and sealed, them. Okay, let's stop the waffle and get going. So one of the other things that I'm sort of checking out today, because I've not worn it for a while, is this helmet and what it's going to perform like in the rain. Am I going to get too hot? Is the visor going to mist up? Am I better off wearing goggles? So I have bought goggles with me just so I can check that. Yeah, so this is, for me, this is, as I said on the previous video when I was talking about these waterproofs, you know, the motto of the SAS, Andy McNabb always said, shouldn't be who dares wins, but check and test, check and test. For me, winter riding can be just as enjoyable as summer riding, but you've got to get your kit and all that right and sorted. Yeah, if you get your kit wrong, then there's a good chance that you're just going to be miserable all day. You're going to be cold, you're going to be super wet. Yeah, you know, you start having a tantrum, the slightest thing, you know, you drop your bike, whatever. Big buzzard. Yeah. So if you get your kit right, and I mean everything, you know, your goggles, your jackets, tyres, if you get that all right, then I find winter riding's a lot of fun. won't regret this. Let's see how far we can get. So far so good. I have got my saw as ever, so right, let's go and have a look on foot. Cuss, it gets cheeky down there. Yeah, there's too much work there for me to sort out on my Todd today. And then this is obviously going to be a big problem here. So I've taken a photo so I can report it. It's obviously a huge tree there, but it's obviously fallen off that. It's a shame because that's quite a nice little technical bit back there. Wind your way down. Sort of probably was an old gully. Definitely one of the worst things about winter riding is when you get hot, you know. Man. Right, let's turn the bike round. Can't believe I'm actually getting excited that it's starting to rain. Yeah, so a big question this time of year is, do you go goggles, or are you better off with visor, or are you better off with both? And each has their pros and cons. I must admit, I do like wearing a visor because it's easier to clear it quickly. You know, sometimes because I wear glasses and you get your goggles messed up, even if you don't, and then it can be really tricky to sort of see where you're going. Where with a visor, bosh, just throw it up, and you've instantly got perfect vision. Right, let me concentrate here because this one might be tricky, might be a bit muddy. Bit of speed. Oh, it's nowhere near as bad as I thought it might be. With those tree roots there, because they can soon have you off. Alright, here we go. Sometimes you are actually better off just getting in the puddle. It depends where you are. Right, so I didn't look up here, but you can see it's quite a tight little rut there. So I'm just going to ride it now. Just paddle a little bit, so I'm keeping my feet up. Yeah, so the only problem with visors is I've got my visor up now, obviously. And now the inside might be getting wet. So then you've got the problem when you put your visor down, the inside of your visor's wet. Grand day for it. go this way. That's why there's so many pheasants at the minute, because it's shooting season. Okay, so here the rain comes. So one of your big weak points is around the neck, and I find that with all sorts of jackets, adventure jackets. I think they're too tight around the neck, and really you need some sort of like neck baffle. I had a set of Heingerich sort of textile riding, weatherproof riding gear years ago, and it's one of the things I really liked about it. It had this great neck baffle that when you were riding in winter, it stopped the rain getting in the top of your jacket. But as I've already said, I think with trail riding you've just got to accept the fact that you're going to get wet, so do whatever you can to keep warm. No cotton. Well, we're talking of winter preparation and winter gear and all that. So can you see here, look, this is my USB port that I've got in this Adventure Spec mini tower thing, and I always buy these USB hang on a minute, bit of sweet corn in the wrong place. I always buy these USB ports that protrude out beyond, you know, they're not flush, and they've got this sort of lipped, ridged area here. So I find then you can put a bag over it, a little bag. So this is just a thick little bag that some screws came in, and I've zip tied that on and then zip tied it to the cable just to stop the water getting in if it's raining. Or sometimes I've used a bit of inner tube and some zip ties. And yeah, so that just means I'm not going to be getting, if it does start to absolutely chuck it down, I'm not going to get water into there. And then what I do is, I've done nothing with my USB cable, but I do put some silicone grease in the port there. So pack it out with silicone grease, put that in, and you'll find you'll be lovely jubbly. You can put some silicone grease in the USB bit as well. You'll be fine with that, and yeah, always works for me. Never had any issues. You know, I'm not constantly getting warnings about water in my phone or anything like that. Because it's an iPhone, doesn't seem to cause problems with water running down the screen there when I'm navigating. Yeah, that has been a good workable solution. That is deep. Oh, Michael, you know it's gonna go horribly wrong. Right, that's a lot deeper than the other day. It was bone dry the other day. I'm on my own. Yeah, that'd be silly. I'm not going to go down there. Let's turn around. Yeah, so definitely with this game in winter, you've got to be prepared. You know, you've got to check your kit, test your kit, think about it, think about the what ifs. You know, what a big what if is, you know, what if someone has an accident and you've got to keep a casualty warm, you've got to keep yourself warm. You know, you're waiting there for ages for recovery or an ambulance, you know, whatever. So it can go horribly wrong in winter. I haven't done this lane in a very, very, very long time. Public byway, look. Yeah, obviously gloves is a big thing, and keeping your tuxies warm. And you know, this is not a recommendation, it's just what I do, and it works for me. Again, these are Decathlon mountaineering gloves. Waterproof gloves, really good, got a good thick leather on them, so they'll give you some protection in a fall. There's obviously no armour in them, but yeah, they're good gloves. They work with touch screens as well, so I can do my phone and that. 40 quid. So they're warm, but you get good dexterity, so I've got good control on the bike. That can't be that deep, he says. I'm gonna have to get my feet wet. Oh no, that's not deep. No, that's not deep. No, it wasn't deep at all in the end. Right, so yeah, as I said, I just got my glasses a bit wet there because I just couldn't really see. So having a little bag like this on your bars, a little tank bag with a cloth, you know, it's a priceless thing really. So I'm just quickly take my glove off. So just going to quickly dry my glasses and get them straight on. So also what I carry is a little bit of chamois as well. Yeah, so obviously when you're drying your car, you dry your car with a chamois. So chamois work well when wet, unlike a microfiber cloth. So I always find a little bit of chamois as well useful. The bike is sliding all over the place. Tricky conditions to be out on a big bike at the minute. Very tricky. Wait. A bit all over the place there. Stop and have a pee. Just quickly talk about a couple of other bits and pieces. Right, okay, so some other Mike's top tips. I mentioned gloves, you know, the mountaineering gloves, Decathlon, 40 quid, brilliant. I always carry a spare set of gloves this time of year as well, because if your gloves get wet, your hands get wet, your hands get cold. I hate that. So I always bring a spare pair of gloves. This time of year, I also always bring a flask. Don't be silly. Don't want comments. Yes, you can see it. It'll be funny. Yeah, so a flask. So you know, worst case scenario, you've got something warm you can get instantly. Let me go in my bag. So, woolly hat or fleece hat in this case for when you stop. Like I mentioned, I have got goggles in case I wanted to switch to goggles. So I always bring a bit of food. Okay, so this is a cycling waterproof jacket, and it's like skin tight cycling waterproof jacket, so I couldn't put it over this. I would have to take my body armour off, take everything off, and body armour off, and then put this on over my sort of base layer. So this is waterproof, so this will keep me warm. If I get totally wet through, it'll keep my inner layer a bit drier, so instead of having wet layers up against my body. So then I've got this cycling waterproof. It packs down really small, but it was, again, Decathlon, about 60 quid. It's like a kind of Gore-Texy material, but it's very, very stretchy, very comfortable to wear. that is kind of like an emergency layer that I bring. Where's my little bag? I mean, I carry this all the time, but what you definitely want to carry, so obviously you should really carry a first aid kit if you've got any brains, because these things happen. So I've got my little first aid kit and a few pills and all usual, that sort of thing. But get yourself something like this, a little emergency blanket. So that's some people call them a survival blanket, and it's foil. Look, it's yeah, like a thick foil material. So whenever you see some sort of disaster movie or something's happening, you see people walking around with these things on, these what looks like foil, and that's what it is. It's one of them, and they are brilliant because, you know, again, you've got a casualty, you want to keep someone warm, want to keep yourself warm, you've got to sit somewhere waiting for recovery, it's chucking down with rain, you can put that over you, it's not going to leak because it's plastic effectively, and that'll keep you very, very warm. So it's worth carrying something like that. Right, it'll be dark in less than an hour, so it's certainly pretty dark. So I'm going to do a couple more lanes and I'm going to get on the road and head home. So I've just been having a feel. I can't feel any damp spots from where water's been getting through from the waterproofs. Yeah, so from that point of view, they've been good. Very happy with them generally. Right, this is the last lane before I'm going to jump on the dual carriageway and head home. Yeah, this brings you into the back of the services on the A14, which is always good for a stop at a Greggs, or if you need fuel. Right, okay, so I'm going to pull into the garage. Well, the service is just down here. So thanks for coming along the ride. Thanks for this little chat about winter riding, you know, being prepared, embrace it. If you get your kit right, you're not going to go far wrong. Decent set of waterproofs and then some good layers underneath to keep you warm. Think about what you're going to do in emergency to keep warm. Simple little tricks like hand warmers and stuff like that always help. I will be chucking a couple in my pocket so I'm toasty for the ride home. But yeah, I've been toasty warm anyway, really, all day. It's been great. But that's, you know, because I know what to wear, and over the years I've realised what I need to do. Right, so I'm going to get a Greggs. Yeah, so be prepared is definitely the motto of the day. Yeah, so as for the waterproofs, I mean, they've been great. I've had a bit of a feel around. I've got no damp spots anywhere, and they've breathed really well, these actually, so I've not got sweaty and clammy like, you know, more plasticky, less breathable waterproofs get. So yeah, these Acerbis X Duro waterproofs have been great. Okay, so that's enough waffling from me. I need a warm sausage roll and then a steady ride home. So thanks for watching, thanks for coming back to the channel. Hopefully I'll see you back on the channel again soon. If I don't see you on the channel, then hopefully I'll see you out the trail riding your bike. So from me, from Mike, bye for now.